just for the fun of it, so we can prove that we can identify assertive, aggressive, and non-assertive behavior. If you go to your, not the next sheet, but the one that's got the assertion continuum, and then, okay, what you're going to see on this sheet is there's a bunch of sentences, situations, and then there's a response. So I just want you to take 10 minutes, do as many of them as you can, and you're going to rate the response as being assertive, non-assertive, and or aggressive, and then we'll check on what you think made it that way. Just so you get used to start seeing behavior through the lens of this model, all right? So I'll give you about 10 minutes, and then we'll process that, and then we'll take a break. So Dave, 2.
I changed this one. I changed it to aggressive. I originally had it as assertive because it was an I statement. I won't stand for it, but I'm saying you're taking advantage of me, and it's your responsibility to look after your child.
Okay. Everybody agree it's aggressive?
I'm not sure I agree.
Well, see, let me tell you what makes it aggressive.
It's appropriate, though.
Yeah, see, so there are situations where that might be your best choice. Remember, it's always about getting the outcome or the impact that you really want. But what makes this aggressive is you're telling the other person what their motivation is. You're taking advantage of me. So I'm pretending I know what's going on with you. And then I'm going to preach to you a little bit to tell you how you should be. It's your responsibility to look after your own child. Whenever you're telling somebody else how they ought to be, that's aggressive. So in both of those counts, that did become aggressive. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll jump down here to Connie.
I did aggressive.
You had aggressive. Everybody agree on that one? So in this situation, read it again, what would the non-assertive person do?
Drive away.
They would never go back. They'd be going to the parts store to get a new gas cap, right? So sometimes being non-assertive costs you money because you don't stand up for, okay. Now, what would an assertive person do? They wouldn't go back and they wouldn't say, they wouldn't accuse, right? Telling the other person what they did, and they wouldn't order them around, right? What would an assertive way be to handle that situation?
I know I had a gas cap when I came here. Would you be able to help me find it?
So you make a request. Now, are they more likely to respond favorably to that request than the way this person did it? You know, so a lot of times.
Depends who's saying it.
Yeah, but you know, there are times when we shoot ourselves in the foot because the way we ask for something almost guarantees that we're going to get resistance from the other party. If we could have done it different, we could have maybe gotten cooperation. Okay, so number 4, we are to sue.
Non-assertive.
Okay, what made it non-assertive?
The whole, if you could see your way clear, they're not really definite on what they want.
Right. How does an assertive person ask for a raise? We can talk about this because Rick's not here.
They tell you why they deserve it.
Yeah, so what kind of information would they want to give to justify their request?
I've got these skills, I've been doing these activities, I've been productive with this.
These are the things I've done for the company, right? And you might have some other facts. This is what people in corresponding positions in other organizations are being paid. This is how many years I've served here. This is how long it's been since I had my last raise. You're just giving a lot of information. But yeah, a lot of people don't know how to ask for non-assertive people. I had a woman in a workshop once who told me she had worked for a company for 15 years and had never had a raise. And she took this class and she went in the next day and she asked for a raise. And they right away gave it to her. And she's going, God, why didn't I do this 13 years ago? Right? Okay. Because sometimes if you don't ask, you don't get. Right? Okay, number 5, we're to Deb.
Assertive.
Assertive? Everybody agree? And again, you get the I statements. And this is one of those great examples where we said where sometimes you set the limits, where you say, I can do this, but I can't do that. Right? So it's taking care of them to the best of your ability without sacrificing yourself. And we're back to Connie. No, we're back to Daniel. 6.
I thought it was assertive. Even though you could read it as aggressive, I thought it was assertive.
Okay. I think Did anybody put down aggressive? Okay, what could make it aggressive is the you statement. You make the material interesting. You're telling the other person what they do. To make it totally assertive, and I think it's implied, which is I agree with you, that it's actually assertive. You make the material interesting to me, right? And that's implied, even though it's not stated. And that makes it an assertive statement. So we're to 7 and we're to Dave.
I thought this was assertive. I still think I'd prefer.
Right. Everybody agree?
I did it.
Okay, what made you think it was aggressive? Can you figure out, because there's a couple things in there that you could argue for.
Just that there's been no action on your part. I still think that you should talk to her soon.
Very good.
I prefer that you do it tonight.
Yeah, the thing that really jumps out is you should. That's kind of that's aggressive language, telling somebody what they should do, even though she prefaced it with, I still think. But overall, it's still fairly assertive, okay? But if she'd have softened that language, if she had said, instead of I still think you should, she could have said, I would really like you to. So you're saying what you want. But when I say you should, I'm preaching as to what your behavior should be. That's aggressive. Okay, let's go to 8, and we're to Sue.
Again, not assertive,
Okay?
just because they're, again, not giving the person what they want or what they need, what they can do.
Right, so everybody else's needs are more important than mine. Okay, number 9, Deb.
Assertive.
Right. And there again, that would depend on how they said it. Because I could see somebody saying that in a kind of snotty way that might make it aggressive, right? But I think it's a great answer otherwise, don't you? All right, number 10, Dano.
Assertive.
Everybody assertive or not?
I did not.
I put not.
I wasn't sure.
Okay, so now one of the things that's critical here is, and we don't know the answer to this, but was the supper really burning?
Right.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know. So if the supper was in fact burning, then I would say it starts to be more assertive, right? Because they're responding to this. But I don't think they would have had to add, I hope you don't mind. Because what if the person says, I do mind? I'm getting off the phone whether you mind or not. So why do I have to say, I hope you don't mind, right?
It's just being polite on the end. I hope you
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Now,
one
if the supper...
if you do mind, well, then, you're kind of a slime person.
Right. Okay. Now, what if the supper wasn't burning? Have you ever made one up like this? Oh, somebody's at the door. I have to go. If you're not being truthful about it, then that becomes non-assertive, right? Because you felt like you had to make up a story in order to get what you wanted. Okay, I forgot where we are, but who's got 11? Are we at?
That's probably me.
Okay.
Assertive.
Okay, everybody agree? So you guys are good at this. You get the idea that we can put these in categories.
Where do you wind up going with number 10 then?
With number 10?
Yeah.
When I give this as if I gave this as an exam, what I tell students is write me a little love note about your reasoning. What made you choose that? If you think I might choose something else. And if they had said what you said, I'd give them full credit, right? See, because sometimes, depending on the nonverbals, depending on the information we don't know, that could shift what it really is. But I'm just trying to get you to start thinking about looking at behavior through the lens of was it assertive, non-assertive, or aggressive. The reason is I'd like you to notice when you're being assertive, non-assertive, and aggressive, and then you can ask yourself, remember awareness gives you choice, choice gives you power. You can say, oh, that was pretty non-assertive. Is that what I wanted to do here? Is that going to get me what I really want? If the answer is yes, then good for you, go for it. But if the answer is no, it would have been better if I could have chosen to be assertive here, then that's a growth area for you. You can say, well, that's something I want to work on. I want to be able to stand up for myself in those situations. And there are situations where you might also say, I should have been aggressive. Because I got to tell you, there are people out there who in some situations, they do not understand, they understand submissive, because if you always give in, that's what they want. They don't understand assertive. So you have to move to aggressive to get their attention, right? Because they understand that. And the only way to take care of yourself is to be able to do that. So I want you to have that skill, but I don't want you to base your relationships on that, because that's a recipe for disaster in human relationships.